The UK has made a decision around the care worker visa and other skilled visas. Before, it was just a deliberation in Parliament on what action to take towards the net migration hike. The Home Secretary has now unveiled plans to cut net migration next spring. These plans affect prospective skilled workers, foreign workers, and students living and working in the United Kingdom. I said in my earlier video that the UK is really on top of their game in cutting net migration regardless of the consequences. I urge international students living in UK, skilled workers, and prospects outside of the care industry to pay keen attention as well, as these measures affect them and they might not even realize. I will be explaining this really concisely for your understanding, so please stay glued to the end of the video. My name is Fatimata Ali. If you are new on my channel, please consider subscribing, like this video, leave your thoughts in the comment section and share it massively to all those that need it. The Home Office has come up with 5-point measures to cut net migration next year, specifically next spring, which could be April. Let's look at these measures one after the other using the BBC report as a baseline. Well, these measures are published on the UK government website, but the BBC report has listed these measures concisely. The first measure is minimum salary for UK skilled worker visa to increase. Let's quickly look at what is published on the UK government website regarding this particular measure. It says, from next spring, the government will increase the earning threshold for overseas workers by nearly 50% from its current position of £26,200 to £38,700, encouraging businesses to look British talent first and invest in their workforce, helping the UK to deter employers from ever relying on migration. What this means is that an employer should be willing to pay you £38,700, or your skills should be able to earn you a work worth £38,700 for you to get a visa sponsorship. And as we speak, in my own perspective, 1 out of 20 get jobs worth that amount of money, especially foreigners and fresh international graduates. On the UK government website, it says, note to editors, those coming on the health and care visa route will be exempted from the increase to the salary threshold for skilled worker visas. So we can contribute to bring the healthcare workers that our care sector and NHS need, and we will exempt those on national pay scales, for example, teachers, etc. Skilled workers coming to serve specifically in the health and social care sector will be exempted from this outrageous salary threshold, which means that carers and other healthcare professionals will still be recruited on the ongoing rate, making it easier for the employers in the health and care industry to afford carers. This is becoming interesting. Let's move on to understand this much better. Okay, so we are going to the second point, which says that minimum income requirement for family visas is to rise. This particular measure means that British citizens and those already settled in the UK will also need to earn £38,700, almost double the minimum wage, which is £26,600, if they want to bring a family member from outside of the UK to join them. Most often, skilled workers coming from abroad, international students coming into the UK take the lead, get settled in the UK before bringing in their families. Now you cannot do that, except that you'll be able to prove an annual worth of £38,700 to show that you'll be able to take care of a dependent or a family. Even those with British passport, for you to apply for a spouse visa or a family visa for someone, you have to be earning £38,700. You are not exempted. Guys, this means that I, who is on an annual salary of £22,000, will not be able to bring any family member into the UK. I will not be able to bring a husband. I will not be able to bring a child, except that I have grown in skills, I have grown in talent to be able to merit a £38,700 yearly job. God, Why will this happen? This is serious, guys, especially with this particular measure. This is more like a family separation. Most companies give 28 days annual leave or 30 days max for the whole year. You cannot take everything at a go. For you to even say that you are going back to visit your family 2 weeks quarterly, how will you now visit your family? This is outrageous, extremely tougher rule to think of, and it affects everyone. It affects me because assuming I have a boyfriend back home that I'm planning to marry, I mean, well, UK is saying that this is the end of our relationship, my boyfriend in Ghana. I cannot marry you. I should better start focusing on those living in UK and of course those who are earning £38,700. We, the lower wage earners, are going to suffer. We low income earners like us we do not have family future. No. Why? Even high profile personalities have also cautioned this particular measure. The director of the Migration Observatory at Oxford University said the Home Secretary's decision to raise the family income threshold to $38,700 could have the most significant impact on individuals. Family migration makes up a small share of the total, but those who are affected by it can be affected very significantly. The largest impacts will fall on lower income British citizens, and particularly women and younger people who tend to earn lower wages. This other person says the measures were deeply concerning because it was vital that overseas health and care staff continue to view the UK as a viable place to work and live. And another person said the cruel plans will spell total disaster for health and social care as migrants will now head to more welcoming countries rather than be forced to live without their families. That is just the truth. It's not even like there's a limit to that rule to say that, oh, you have to come and stay and work for like 2 years, 3 years before you can think of bringing your family or before the rule can relax on you. It's just an open rule. There must be consideration to some extent. People have to be happy to give their best. People need their families. People need homes to be able to be productive, to be able to give you the talent and skills you are looking for. And I just feel like these are extreme plans, chaotic plans, as other high profiles are saying, which need to have a second look. But well, this has been announced by the new Home Secretary, and as announced starting next spring, there's no doubt that this will happen. But hopefully something might come up to just make things a little bit better, or just make the rules a little bit relaxed. Here is what the Home Secretary has to say. Health and social care workers will be exempt from increases in the salary threshold, so we can keep bringing them over to fill chronic shortages. So the enticing thing here is health and social care skilled workers will be exempt from this salary threshold, making it easier for employers in the industry to recruit skills from abroad. You cannot just come in with your dependents, but it will still be easy for employers to bring you into the UK. This in turn means that you will not be able to bring in your dependents anytime soon during your stay in the UK, because for you to be able to apply for your family to join you, you must prove an annual weight of 38,700. So now they are making it cheap for employers to employ you to come into the UK. Means that is how much you are going to be paid from your employer. So when will this particular amount increase to 38,700 for you to be able to say, oh, I can now bring in my family? Let's move on. The third one says ban on care workers bringing family dependents to UK. Overseas care workers will not be allowed to bring in dependents with them. If you are recruited from abroad, you are needed alone. You are needed as a skill or as a talent. Care companies are worried that if people are not allowed to bring in their dependents, foreigners may not want to come in to work and leave their dependents behind. They might as well turn to more welcoming countries than coming into the UK. But this is what the government is saying. The government says it believes there will still be high demand from overseas workers for care roles in the UK, even if individuals cannot bring family members with them. Wow, this is interesting. Especially people from developing countries where living conditions are already not good, and these people are looking out for betterness in other countries. These are desperate and vulnerable people, okay? The government still believes that regardless of the circumstance, people will still come into the UK. But the point is that getting into the UK comes the frustration, because people will leave their families back home. You will not be able to drive the productivity that you actually need from these people, because you cannot separate people from their families. They come into the country perhaps out of desperation, perhaps they do not have any option, and you expect them to do better. The next measure is salary discount for shortage occupation list. Currently, jobs on a shortage occupation list can be paid at 80% of the usual going rate to qualify for a skilled worker visa. The list covers a wide range of sectors, including health, education, care worker, and construction, and is designed to make it easier for employers to fill vacancies where there is a shortage of workers in the UK. The government says it wants to stop immigration undercutting British workers and is planning to scrap the 20% discount. This is just making it more easier for employers in this industry, the shortlisted occupation, to recruit more people from abroad. So the government has slashed a 20% discount on the salary threshold, the ongoing salary threshold, making it easier for employers to get people from abroad. And the last but not the least, the healthcare sector fee is to rise. The government will make sure that migrants coming to the UK make a fair financial contribution so that public services, including the NHS, are not taken advantage by increasing the annual immigration health sector from £624 to £135. Things are getting more tighter, guys. Almost 40% increase on the NHS fee for skilled workers coming into the UK. But of course, those coming to work in the health and care sector will be exempted. You do not pay for health sector fee. But any other skilled worker from the finance, consultancy, engineering, and etc., you will have to bear this cost coming into the UK. If you are not coming in from these shortlisted occupations. The last one is review of graduate visa. A graduate visa allows international students to stay at least 2 years in the country after their program of study. Having stopped international students from bringing independence starting January 2024, they are looking forward to review the graduate route visa. What could they possibly be doing with the graduate route visa? Are they going to cut the number of years? Are they going to make it more strict and paying more attention to the conditions in getting the graduate route? Which means that students have to extremely be careful. You have to make sure that you start obeying any student's rules and regulations, because now getting a skilled worker visa does not come easy following this 5-point measure. So you want to make sure that you do good by obeying student rules and regulations, so you'll be qualified for this graduate route visa in future. Guys, so these are the 5 measure points the government has announced.
Of our 5 points will be to end the abuse of the health and care visa. We will stop overseas care workers from bringing family dependents, and we will require care firms in England to be regulated by the Care Quality Commission in order for them to sponsor visas. But it is also important that migrants make a big enough financial contribution. Therefore, we will increase annual immigration health surcharge this year by 66%, from £624 to £1,035, to raise on average around £1.3 billion for the health services of this country every year. Second, we will stop immigration undercutting the salary of British workers. We will increase the skilled worker earnings threshold by 1/3 to £38,700 from next spring. Those coming on health and social care visa routes will be exempt so we can continue to bring in the healthcare workers on which our care sector and NHS rely. Thirdly, we will scrap cut price shortage labour from overseas by ending the 20% going rate salary discount for shortage occupations and reforming the shortage occupation list. People only bring dependents who they can support financially. By raising the minimum income for family visas to the same threshold as the minimum salary threshold for skills workers, which is 38,700. This package of measures will take place from next spring. I have asked the Migration Advisory Committee to review the graduate route to prevent abuse, to protect the integrity and quality of the UK's outstanding higher education sector.
I personally think that these rules are tighter than we are seeing them, okay? And I'm just hoping that perhaps something might come up to just relax them in a bit before next spring. Otherwise, it's just going to be chaotic to the staff as well as the industries itself. This is it, guys. If there's anything you are not sure of, I am going to list some relevant links below so you can read for yourself. Thank you very much for staying with me to the end of this video. If you have not subscribed at this point, please subscribe to my channel, okay? Like this video and share massively to people that actually need it. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.